What's up guys, this is Hepodix and welcome to my .18 alpha patch notes rundown / analysis video. I'm gonna go through the patch notes here, which are the latest for Spellbreak. This game just got from pre-alpha to alpha state, which is pretty huge. And as a fan of this game, I've been really enjoying it, so I'm gonna go through these notes. Mostly the bigger changes are gonna be my target. Probably a couple smaller things I'm gonna discuss about, but all those big changes are the most important ones, and I want to discuss them and how they affect the gameplay overall. So without further ado, let's look around. So first we got new features. First there's the redesigned HUD. So the HUD has a new look. It includes your equipped items. You can see quickly what you're using without having opened the inventory screen by pressing tab, and this is actually pretty huge. In the old patch you couldn't see your items like belt, neck and the boots. Only you had to press the tab button to see those 3 items, but in the new HUD you can see them without pressing the tab. So it's actually huge. I first thought the new HUD looked kind of weird, but after playing for a day or two now, I'm getting kind of used to it, and it's actually great in the long run, I think. So it's a good change. You can see the items now, and it's more simplified to use, so you don't have to press tab every time to access the items and see what items you actually have at the moment. So then we got the streamer mode, which allows you to hide your player name from everyone but your teammates. We've also hidden the party code on the home screen to prevent party sniping once the NDA is lifted, which is today. NDA's got lifted today on Tuesday, so I'm allowed to talk about this whole thing. So I think this is great changes, because especially when they want to prevent party sniping and things like that, it's really great, because there are popular streamers around who can get very sniped in their things and games, or people can just ghost their position and go do nasty things basically. So I'm really glad they're trying to make some actions to prevent that kind of sort of action. That's great. And for the last new feature, we got some character models, new character options, which are pretty cool actually. I like the new models. They look very nice, but for personally, I really like the original model that's the game's advertised as, and the basic model, the girl with the hoodie, and that's my favorite, so I'm gonna stick to her for now at least. Anyways, we move on to balance changes. We got some Gauntlet adjustments. This first one is huge, the lightning Gauntlet changes. So yeah, it's been a hot topic, and apparently lightning was pretty strong for what it was in the last patch. So what they did, first of all, they increased the spell-based cast duration from 0.68 to 0.96 seconds. So what does this mean is that the whole process of the lightning cast takes longer to cast, so you can't spam it as often as you could in the previous patch, because it gave you a lot of damage in short periods of time, and that's what I believe people complained about. So they wanna make it less effective overall, which is understandable. I really understand why this is happening, because the next one is going to be also increasing the delay between each bolt being in the lightning spell. So they increase the delay between the bolts, as well as the overall total cast time of the 3 bolts that you actually cast before you can cast a new set of 3 bolts. So they spread the duration, they spread the bolts, and then they increase the duration overall. So this is huge. This is a huge nerf in my opinion, but I don't think it makes the Gauntlet unusable. I don't think it's dead or bad after this. So it's understandable that these nerfs got into a hand, but they didn't just nerf the Gauntlet, they also had some adjustment on the 3rd paragraph. So reduced projectile speed penalty while firing lightning spell in midair. So it doesn't spread as much in the midair, which is understandable. I think it's good change that they did just nerf the Gauntlet to a bad state. At least they give you something back. So it's not as spready when you're trying to shoot the targets, it's more accurate from long distances. I think this is a good change, and it forgives the nerfs above here. So I think this is a good adjustment to this. And what I have trying the new Gauntlet, the new lightning spell, I think it's very viable still. It's not as dominant as it used to be, but still a good Gauntlet. Then we got another Gauntlet nerf, which is the last one from this category. We got Poison Gauntlet nerf. So the Poison spell base cast duration has been increased from 0.8 to 1 second, which is 0.2 second difference. And they're trying to say, why is it that? Because the Poison spell was too easily spammable, which was a devastating and short range. This is true. This is actually true, but the Poison Gauntlet's playstyle was all about going on that assassin mode. You just wanted to get behind your target or just very close in general. With runes like Shadow Step, it was really a dream come true, just to play your little assassin game, just to get close and spam that Gauntlet. I agree, I agree, it's very strong, especially on close range. When you get to the better Gauntlets, especially Legendary Poison Gauntlet, you could do a ton of damage from close range. You could even two-shot people if you got that thing right and the enemy had no huge amounts of sustain, like Behemoth Bell, for example. So that's just it's understandable that they slightly want to nerf the Gauntlet. It's slightly weaker now, obviously, because you can't use it as often, but it's still very doable. I don't think it's like super bad or anything. It just got slightly nerfed because the amount of damage you could do in such a short period of time, people had a lot of problems trying to react to that if they couldn't see the guy coming behind or stealthing next to you or invading you in general to get close range and just spam that poison at you, because it did a lot of damage. So yeah, it's an understandable nerf, but I just hope the game doesn't go into the direction where they nerf something and then they realize something else is OP, and then they nerf that too, and then they realize that another thing is OP, which ultimately could end up in the situation where everything is nerfed and nothing feels as funny, you know, to play or as powerful, that it starts to go in a more sustained type of game. Because I like the snowball aspect of Spellbreak, the thing that you can do a lot of damage if you can aim well, for example. It rewards you with high amounts of damage, instead of that you just slap each other with 10 damage and the battle takes for minutes. That I don't think that's the point of the game even. You want to have rather more intuitive and fast-paced fights going on, instead of nerfing everything to the ground. But these nerfs, they're understandable. I'm not particularly mad about them. I just hope the game doesn't go in the direction that everything gets super nerfed and everything just feels weak in comparison. I'd rather have this more snowball kind of environment going on where things actually do a lot of damage, but it has to be rewarded to the player, that you just don't mash your head to the keyboard and you suddenly kill someone. So it needs to be rewarded based, for sure. Okay, enough with the gauntlets, we move on to classes. So we got some Bulwark nerfs and Crackshot book fixes. Let's first talk about the Bulwark. So they lowered the transference leech from 30, 45, and 60% to 20, 30, and 40%. And again, I think this is understandable. They changed the talent in the earlier patch. This was the first time it got introduced in the 0.17 patch, if I'm not mistaken. And the values were kind of high. The 30, 45, and 60%, they were kind of high as a value. So they dropped that to 20, 30, and 40%. You could leech that armor from your enemy, and it was just huge. You could leech a ton of armor, and it made you super tanky, but perhaps too tanky, and I kind of agree on this. Like they explain, it has just two good values, especially when you combine with the reinforced belt. You could do even more abusing on this thing. So yeah, toning down the numbers, yeah, for sure, I understand. It's a reasonable nerf, and I still think Bulwark is still a nice tanky option if you want to go for a more sustained kind of playstyle. And the Crackshot doesn't have any nerfs or buffs per se. These are rather bug fixes, which has its own section here, but they wanted to include them separately here, and I understand why, because it was confusing to me as well when it actually uses the Empower charge, but it's no longer consumed by casting a sorcery meaning the special attack. So only from your basic attacks, left and right click, when you use attack every 10 seconds, it actually consumes the charge. not from sorcery. And yeah, this is good that they actually let us know about this. It was at least confusing to me, so this is a great change. An empowered scroll timer can no longer be reset by swapping weapons. And yeah, this is a bug fix too, and it's a great change. It doesn't make any sense because it's every 10 seconds, not every time you swap weapons. So we got a circle adjustment as well. So added an additional circle at the end of the match. This final circle closes much more slowly than previously. And yeah, this is a good change too. I gotta agree. I'm just overall really happy about the patch. It's just a really good patch overall, and I'm really appreciating these changes. They want to make some healthy life changes. I don't think anything that's mentioned so far has been too dramatic. So they added the extra circle towards the end, and I think this is good because people were dying a lot to the zone when the blast zone is getting smaller. People were dying to that instead of having that climatic end fight, like it says. We want to encourage fighting for climatic conclusions rather than playing turtle up and hoping, yeah, indeed, hoping the game ends before they run out of health. So this is very reasonable, and I'd rather have that final battle with someone than just to jiggle around and see when the storm closes that if someone happens to die, when it takes a lot of damage towards the end of the game. So yeah, this is good change. I really like it. It emphasizes on the climax, the finale, when you have only a couple players remaining, so they can have that proper last fight instead of getting caught by the storm and just dying in a stupid manner. It's a good change. So then we got visual changes. Okay, so the item visual appeal change, we got this. Yeah, the items look different in the map now when you loot them. It has that different kind of glow to it, and you can just distinct them better from that when you used to. It's something that you just need to get used to if you're used to the old way of how the items looked. But after playing a few days now, I'm really getting used to it. It's not a big of a deal, and I think in the long run it looks better. You can see those rarities from afar better. You can distinguish which item or gauntlets is what better, so it's a good thing. Then we got the new animation for the Earth primary spell. Well, this is a minor thing in like actual gameplay, but people again who were used to the old animation, it was a little drastic to feel that change, because I think the old one is that you hit with 2 hands to make the Earth attack, but now with the new attack and animation, it only uses 1 hand to punch to the ground, and that makes the shockwave. So I know it's a minor thing, but it's still a huge visual aspect of changing. It doesn't make the spell any weaker or stronger, just a visual thing. And some other minor things, they added some placeholder VFX to the ice sorcery. It looks slightly different. In my opinion, it looks better now. And yeah, but apparently it's a placeholder, so they're gonna adjust that at some point, I'm pretty sure. And some optimizations as well. Audio is now processed on separate thread, freeing up CPU resources. I think this game isn't still properly optimized. I'm pretty sure they're trying their best to make it as run as smooth as possible. I don't think it's the most graphically hungry game at the market. Like, there are games that demand more from your PC, and even I have a mediocre PC with Intel i7 and GTX 980, and I'm really struggling to get frames. I'm not even getting proper 144 frames, let alone I have 240 Hz monitors, so I'm not getting even close to that, which is sad to own a monitor that you can't fully utilize on this game. And I think it's partially because of the game hasn't been optimized well enough yet. But it's still, despite that, it's playable. I'm not saying it's totally unplayable because it doesn't give you as much frame rate, but I'm really glad that they're trying to adjust the game so people can get more frames out of it. It's really important to have a good frame rate in a very fast-paced game like Spellbreak is. So very important. And some server performance improvements. This is important, very important. And for your lag spikes, this is huge, especially for myself. Please remember, guys, I'm talking about my own experience and reflecting to them how I feel about the changes, so this is not a general opinion or anything, this is how I've been experiencing the game. So when I've been playing on NA, I'm from EU, so I get this lag. I know it's understandable, at least 150 ms. Of course, you play across the continent, you get high ms. But still, if you get even less lag spikes because of that, because they're trying to adjust the game, that's just huge. Even with the 150 ms, it's playable, but sometimes you still get these nasty lag spikes, and it sometimes feels it's unplayable. Like the jump can be bugged, for instance, or a lot of other minor things. But yeah, the further we go in this game, it's gonna get more optimized, and it's just great, and some netcode optimizations to reduce data transmission. Yeah, these two very important as well to make the game run more smoothly, and network-wise and performance-wise, it's very nice. And we got some map changes as well. This is going to be towards the end now. I'm not gonna go all these small things, but the most important ones I believe is that all loot has been added to the lobby and practice area. This is good change because people can now properly experiment with the gauntlets. They can experiment with the runes, items, do all sorts of combinations, and try out which kind of playstyle suits them the most, or what kind of playstyle they willing to try, or see how it counterplays to another playstyle, for example. It's just very, very good to have that structured thing where you can try everything, because why wouldn't you have that option to do? Why the game developers would want to restrict the player from trying all sorts of experiments in the practice area, especially in the practice area. That's what it means to practice the game, to practice the mechanics. Very important change and a good change. I'm really happy about that. They added all the loot. And when it comes to the map, other changes got adjusted too. We got the updated minimap, which is good. Some healthy life changes. Also, they redesigned Dust Pool Hold, which is an area towards the north. I can't tell the exact differences on the two, but I'm pretty sure there are at least the chest placements. There are 2 epic chests in the area. These has been adjusted position-wise, and how the castle is structured, I believe, got very redesigned in a way that it doesn't look like they copy-pasted another Castle Bogmore and just placed on top of Dust Pool Hold. And I'm not saying the designs on the castles are uncreative or something, but there are a few places where it feels that it has been kind of copy-pasted, which is necessarily not a bad thing per se, because the castle designs are pretty good in general. But it's still nice that they wanna give you some unique variety between the different areas in the map, which is huge, especially like when they redesigned the Dust Pool Hold. I think that's just a good change overall. Very nice, very nice. And some bug fixes relating things, some collision kind of buggies, and yeah, collision bugs, visual appeal changes, some more minor things that I think aren't as game breaking as the ones I had more things talked about or mentioned. But yeah, it's good that the community is very active and they're reporting bugs and issues that are in the map, as well as in the game and the game mechanics themselves. So the developers of Proletariat can just adjust them and just try to fix them as they come to their light, and just change the game across that. So it's very, very important that they actually listen to the community. I'm just very glad how they move forward with this game, and they actually listen to their player base, because that's what their customers are ultimately. So yeah, it's good. Then we got some bug fixes, some little smaller ones and some couple bigger ones. I'm gonna go through the big ones only. So the biggest thing here, I think, is continued improvement of projectile hit registration. This means if you see your projectile hit another player, that player should take damage. This is still an ongoing work in progress. I can relate to this bug. I've been experiencing this bug, which means that basically, I can remember a game where I had a fire gauntlet and I was shooting the enemy with the fireballs, and I'm 99.9% sure that the enemy didn't counter me with anything. There was no wind, there was no lightning gauntlet, there was not a single gauntlet trying to deny the projectile I was trying to use it for. I got a direct hit on the guy, but still he doesn't take damage, whether despite the fact he should take damage from a direct hit. So they're trying to fix that with this statement, continued improvement on projectile hit registration, which is huge, because at least personally, it's very triggering when you actually make a hit. It should reward you as a player. Congratulations, you did X amount of damage, you hit this player, your aim is decent or whatever. So yeah, it's very fundamental thing actually, because yeah, well, it is. It's very important. I'm just overall really happy they're trying to fix that issue as they go. And another thing that caught my attention was the teammate icon adjustments. So teammate and player icon color no longer changes when a teammate leaves the match. And there were some other like icon glitches and color glitches. Let's say if I mark a map, if I mark an item on a map, let's say my friend wants the fire gauntlet from this chest, but I can't bring it to him, so I mark it on the map, but it actually showed the wrong color from what I was. I was orange, and it might show you the blue mark in the map, which was really confusing. So it's a small visual thing, actually, but in the long run, it's kind of tedious. If a simple thing as that, as marking a thing on a map, or the arrows or the colors are getting swapped, it's just stupid small bug. So, but very important in the long run, especially if you play with a lot of teammates, or if you do a lot of squad in general. It's a good healthy change. And the last bug fix that really caught my attention, there are some small ones, but I don't think they're as game breaking. This one fixed an issue that would occur when a potion would get consumed from the wrong hotbar slot whenever a player had two sets of the same potion and used the potion from a hotbar slot containing less of it. And even they knew it was this was a bad thing, because they're replying to their own thing. Yes, yes, indeed. And that's my initial reaction to it as well. Yes! So yeah, it was very frustrating. Let's say if you had 2 health potions on slot 1 and 2 health potions on slot 3, and you pressed 3 to consume 1 health potion. Let's say you want to heal a bit, you need to max your HP. It took the potion from slot 1 even though you pressed number 3. Very small annoying thing, but I'm so glad they fixed that. I'm so glad they fixed it, because you had to rearrange your inventory, and it was just a minor unnecessary management kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm very glad they fixed that. Then there are some known issues that they haven't fixed yet. I'm very glad they're mentioning these here as well. I'm not gonna go through these in kind of a detail, because some of them are very minor, but I still appreciate the fact that they're letting us know what are the changes, or what are they aware of that haven't been fixed yet. So this is very, very huge info here, although most of it is very minor. Like here, Poison Cloud SFX do not change when Poison Cloud is frozen. Small things, but when you have a lot of small bugs and small things that you can fix, it just comes along as a better game towards the future. And even if it's a small bug, it can make a drastic difference. Even when you just read from the text, it might not sound as impactful, but it can have a bigger meaning towards once fixed. So yeah, that covers up the 0.18 patch notes. If there's something major that I didn't cover up, I believe I covered everything major that the patch had. Please let me know that in the comments if there's something you want to know my opinion about, or if there's something major I didn't talk about, which I doubt, but if there's something you just want to let me know about, or what are your thoughts in this type of video, just let me know that in the comments. That's very important for me to get some sort of feedback, because I'll be doing these Spellbreak videos for now, because I'm really into the game. I have not been endorsed by the company to do this or change the game. I changed the game because I've been really enjoying Spellbreak. It's been a lot of fun. I really like the fast-paced, intuitive combat style that it offers. It's just a lot of fun. And why did I start playing in the first place? Because I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. And I get fun from Spellbreak, so that's why I'm doing these. And overall, I think the patch was great. There was a lot of good changes overall, which I'm happy about. So it's up to the future. We'll see what's gonna happen. Are there gonna be more adjustments? Are they gonna nerf things? Are they gonna buff things? I'm very curious to know what's headed for the future. But as the game stands for now, I think it's pretty damn good state. I think it hasn't been as in good state as before. So good changes, good healthy changes, and I really hope it goes for a better direction from here on out. So that's about it for the analysis video for this patch, 0.18. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to subscribe for more videos to come and hit that notification bell to get notified whenever a new video is up. Thanks for watching. My name is Hepodix, and have a nice day.